I've been on iRacing for a year and a half now, and closing in on 5k iRating, which should be quite a milestone. I've been thinking about what I've learned so far, and I thought I'd share some of the tips and tricks I've learned along the way with you guys. Before we get into the video, if you'd like to get involved in some of my fun community races or just hang out, make sure to join my Discord server. The link is in the description. Lastly, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel get discovered by more people like you. Let's get started then. Here are 6 tips and tricks for iRacing in no particular order. If you're trying to grow your iRacing, you'll need to consistently finish at the sharp end of your races. This is easier when you're starting out, especially as an experienced driver coming from another sim, but it gets harder the higher your iRating gets. Naturally, you'll need to practice, but in a limited amount of time. Practice can only take you so far. This is why I use reference data. I personally use Track Titan, and this works great for me, but there are plenty of other options out there like Coach Dave or Garage 61. If used correctly, data can reduce the amount of time you need to spend practicing, which is useful if you're busy or don't want to spend loads of time practicing before your races. It's important to make sure that the lap you're comparing to is in similar track conditions, because, at least now I'm only a few tenths off the fastest times, there isn't much point comparing my lap to someone running way more track usage and a cooler track temp. They'll have way more grip than I will, so the reference points will be different. Do you use data when practicing for events? If so, let me know what you use in the comments below. If you want to try Track Titan, you can get a free month and discounts using my code below. Next on the list is overlays and dashboards. In real life, your team will have access to a ton of data, including track conditions, tyre temps, wind speeds, other drivers' pace, and loads more. In the sim, unless you've got somebody spotting you, or a spotter like Crew Chief, you'll have very limited access to real-time data. Most modern cars are fitted with a dashboard showing important car info, but most of this isn't very useful to us in the sim. This is where overlays and dashboards come in. Using these tools, we can access almost all the data we'd ever want while driving to help us out. A fuel calculator takes away a load of pressure to calculate your fuel usage while driving, and a weather box will help you understand what to expect before getting out on track. There are a few companies that have some good tools like Race Labs, Caps, and iOverlay. iRacing is finally adding some more in-house overlays, so I stopped paying for Race Labs and have moved to a free program called Edge Overlays. I'll leave the link down below. In my opinion, Race Labs is the best, but I find the free option Edge provides is good enough and also helps to reduce costs. I love using dashboards as well. I recently bought myself the new SimMove dashboard, but previously I was using my phone to display extra data. If you don't have a stand for it, you can also display the dashboard directly onto your monitor. These are some things I definitely wish I'd experimented with sooner, as they are a massive help. Your strategy is super important for races that include pit stops, as you can gain or lose loads of time from them. Practicing the pit entry is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated parts of practice. If you can brake as late as possible and hit the speed limit just on the line, you can easily gain just under a second on the cars ahead if they brake too early. Fuel saving while still doing similar lap times is such an important skill to have as well. If you can do an extra lap, maybe even 2 at some tracks, you can save seconds by not needing to refuel as much in sprint races. And in endurance races, if done correctly, you can cut off an entire stint at the end of the race and save it over a minute and a half sometimes. To see how much fuel I'll need to save for sprint races or shorter endurance races, I use a fuel calculator on my phone. For longer endurance races, generally 6 hours or more, I use iRacePlan to map out stints and fuel saving. It's not perfect, but it's by far the best stint planner I've used. I cannot stress enough how important good camera settings and FPS is in iRacing. I'll show some headcam footage of my rig so you can get an idea of what I see, but it's important to find a good balance of wide FOV and realism. If the FOV is too wide, everything will look distorted, so judging distance is incredibly hard. If the FOV is too low, you won't be able to see much to the side of you. For the graphic settings, I would always go more FPS over better looking graphics. The higher your FPS, the more accurate you can be with your inputs. I have a pretty decent PC and can run max graphics with over 100 FPS, but I've been running them unbalanced recently, so I still have high FPS while running Discord, OBS and any other apps I need open. A tip I would recommend is to turn off your in-car mirrors and just use the virtual one. The car's mirrors use up so much performance on your computer for very little gain. Another thing that seems to be overlooked a lot is tyre management. If you can manage your tyre temperature and wear better than your opponents, you'll have a massive advantage throughout the race. When I first moved from GTP cars to LMP2 cars, I was still driving the LMP2 the same way I drove a GTP car, and I was killing my front tyres within the first 10 laps. I was able to gain a load of places, but I just wasn't able to hold on to them as I was falling back with no front grip. I had to make some changes to my driving style, and now I'm able to drive even faster for longer simply because I'm not overheating my tyres straight away. When practicing for races, it's important to use similar conditions to the ones you'll be driving in. You obviously can't replicate the conditions exactly because they're not the same in every race, but if you go to the series page and click test drive, you'll be put in a session with similar track conditions. If you want to compare to other drivers in the same conditions while driving, but still want to drive on your own, there's a cool feature that allows you to do so. Load into our public practice session from the series page, then click results in the top left and then entries. From there, you can change the group you're in within the practice server. Select an empty one and get driving. You'll have the same conditions as the other drivers, and you'll also be able to see their lap times as well, just like normal. You'll just be on the track all by yourself. Those are my tips to get the most out of iRacing. If you've got any tips to share, then let us know down in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.